So Derek, I know you are born and raised a local Missourian and member of the Cape Girardeau community for many years now. Can you maybe just inform our clients or remind our clients, about your upbringing and maybe how you got into the business?
Yeah, it's kind of a neat story, I think. I had the real treat to work with my parents and my sister in a family insurance business. We were property and casualty insurance agents. My dad was a longtime educator and was looking for a career change. And so he bought an insurance agency with my mom. And ultimately, my sister and I joined that practice and kind of took it to the point where it was time to sell that. It was a great opportunity for all of us to transition to other things that we wanted to do. And so my parents went off and retired, and I got to do what I really wanted to do, and that was financial planning. But that insurance background has served me incredibly well, and I got a chance to help run the business. And so I learned a lot of operational things from those great experiences. And I also got the luxury of learning what it's like to work with family members, which there's some fun experiences with that.
I don't know if it's hard for our viewers to tell, but there's a little bit of an age difference here. So I'm curious to know if you put yourself in my shoes, just kind of given, your expertise and years of experience, if there's just one piece of advice that you would give to me being a new member of the team, or something you wish, you knew at my age, what would that be?
Yeah, I didn't realize a lot of people thought you were older than me, but that's exciting. Seriously, I think the one thing that when I look back over time, just being a great listener is so important. And I think that's one of the things, Sam, frankly, I've admired about you is you're an incredibly great listener. You're terribly inquisitive. You just want to learn more and more about people and their experiences. And that's always been something that I've liked. And I don't do it because it's just important for work. I do it because I'm seriously interested in people. And I know you are too.
Absolutely. Maybe an observation that I've made just, right back at you is I think I observed that you're a really patient person and you're a great educator. I think it's an educator. I think you're a great coach. And I think that you're a great mentor. I know you don't necessarily always hold yourself out to be the most patient person, but that's something that I've certainly observed. And I know it's something that our clients value as well.
Sam, I know so many of the reasons that I'm so excited for you to be part of our team. I understand a lot about your discipline, and I just think you're incredibly smart, but kind of give everyone else a peek inside to the things that really kind of make me excited for you to be here. Tell me a lot about, how you think, your education process and just some of the disciplines that you have.
It kind of brings me back to college, and the way that I just kind of got started with learning was following people that I knew were headed in the right direction. So it was probably a time in my life where I was trying to figure things out, who I wanted to be, what I wanted to do, and how I wanted to be, right? And so I had the great fortune of developing, great relationships that I maintain today. All the friends and family, that stood up in my wedding a year ago. And I said, if I could just pick somebody that I know is headed in the right direction and do a percentage of what they're doing, I'm probably headed in the good direction. And then that kind of lays the foundation to develop good habits and behaviors. And that just kind of builds upon itself. And then if I reflect on my professional career over the last, call it 6-7 years, again, it's having great mentors and coaches. There's no chance I'd be where I am today, sitting here with you at the firm that I am, if it wasn't for having great mentors and coaches. So I think I would say a trait that I have that I take a lot of pride in is coachability as well. So I'm curious if you could impart some of your wisdom upon me. Maybe tell me what's one thing that's incorporated into your daily routine that you might suggest I can incorporate into mine.
I think every morning when I get up, I have a pretty clear sense of what I want to try to accomplish that day. But something I really think that's important is humility. I always remind myself of anytime there's great challenges, or maybe on the opposite, when you're having a lot of success, just kind of being grounded in a great sense of humility that we're not in control of a whole lot of things. And so we really want to affect change on those things that we really have the utmost control over. And I love feeling like that's where I'm spending my energy. And because I think so much in the world today, we just get caught up in all these things that we don't have any control over, and they really shake us to the core. And I really found for me, it just helps to stay true to my values, remind myself to be incredibly humble. And then the last part of that, I think, is gratitude. I think I feel a lot of gratitude to those people around me who've helped me get to where I am, the clients who've entrusted us to serve them, the team that I have around me. I'm so fortunate to have the people that I do, and I'm very grateful for that.
I appreciate that. The irony of you mentioning humility is that Taylor, my wife, for those that don't know, we were actually having a conversation last night, and I said, I think that your sense of humility is part of what makes you such a likable person. And I think that's a natural lead in maybe to my next question, which is, I know, and anybody that knows you knows you're a deep relationship guy. So maybe is there any kind of networking organizations or anything that you could maybe draw on from your experience that's led you to develop so many great and deep relationships over the years?
I always feel it's important to give back. And so when I've been in the business world, I've always thought of where can I take some of my skills, some of my talents, and some of my experiences and put those to work. But one of the things I've really guarded against is just kind of resume building and being in organizations and then frankly just mailing it in. I have tried to be very intentional about the organizations and causes that I get involved in, because if I do those, I want to be high impact. I really want to make a difference, and I want to feel like I really am living into the commitment that I've offered up. And so I think that's it. I think it's just finding something that you really are passionate about and throwing yourself into it. And all of us, I think, have some rich things that we can draw on. And if we just help one person around us, one neighbor, they could use a little helping hand. Those are just exciting gifts that we all carry.
You and I talk a lot to our clients about intentionality, right? And I think oftentimes we find ourselves so lost in the cycle of being in our busy schedules that we need to be more intentional about being grateful for the relationships that we have around us and what we do have. And I think I heard a good quote. It's being grateful for what you have, being focused on yourself. We can bring a ton of intentionality to being grateful, just even in our daily lives.
See, you talk a lot about just some of these mentors and people that you admire. And I'm just curious, what are those, I guess, characteristics or traits that those people have that draw you?
It's a great question. I think my deepest value, kind of, the foundation would be family values. So I have to probably connect with somebody on that level to really develop a pretty deep and meaningful relationship there. But then beyond that, it's people that are probably dedicated to continuing to learn, others that are coachable themselves. So I do think that there's rules of reciprocity there both ways. I'd like to think that my mentors have learned a bit from me, maybe not to the same extent that I've learned from them. But I do think that there's some reciprocity that goes both ways there. And then two, it's probably people that like to have fun. So outside of work, I love to travel, love to exercise. We're a little bit of foodies too. My wife is a great cook. I chalk myself up to be something of a self-made mixologist as well. So hopefully that gives people, a little bit of a peek behind the curtain there. So I kind of see that as a pyramid of the coachability aspect, deep family values, and then folks that like to have a little bit of fun as well.
Very cool. Now, mixology, is that mixing records or drinks?
Oh, if it can be mixed, we're mixing it. I got known for it's funny, we actually just got a record player too within the last year, so we are actually building out a little bit of a record collection, and I guess we'll see when this video gets produced, but I'll let you in on a little secret. We're sneaking up on our first anniversary at the end of October. So I want to do a record that are songs that remind us of our wedding. So we'll see. We'll see if I get that done first or this video comes out first.
What's some of the greatest lessons you think you learned while you were at AssetMark that really help and equip you for this next journey?
Learning how to learn, probably, that probably takes me back to college just as much as it does my professional career. I say it half sarcastically. I'm very, very proud of where I went to school at Mizzou, but if you ask me for something that was technical that I learned there, I don't know how well I'd answer that question. But I learned how to learn, and I think I learned how to build and really develop and cultivate great relationships. And I think the same goes for AssetMark. And again, I think that brings me back to just being a coachable person with a thirst for knowledge. And I think that's the edge at the end of the day, is if we can just get incrementally better, 1% better every single day. It could be something simple and maybe trivial, or it could be something that is really, a breakthrough. But if we're just dedicating ourselves to getting a little bit faster, a little bit sharper, a little bit better every single day, then again, I like the trajectory that we're headed on.
One of the things that for me has been one of the best experiences I've had in the last several years was sitting down with you and Carrie and the three of us thinking about the values of our organization. It was so fun that Carrie and I had done it. And then we had the benefit of sitting down and doing that with you. And so I have a good sense of some of the things that you hold deep in your core that are important to you. But I'm just curious, kind of share a little bit about what you're excited about when you think about serving clients, because you had a different kind of relationship at AssetMark. Now you're going to be kind of on that one-to-one relationship with clients. What really excites you about that? And what do you think you bring to that equation?
I think for all of us at the center of it, it was service first in family values. Those are probably the two overarching themes that we kept coming back to, putting our clients at the center of every decision that we make. And then something that drew me to Anchor Pointe in particular was the concept of independence. I feel that I've always been a fiercely independent person. And I do think that was part of what motivated me or drove me to make the change that I did. And coming over to Anchor Pointe, I think that's part of what makes us unique and a little bit different, being fee only fiduciaries. I think that's something that we talk a lot about with our clients and educating them about what that means. But I'll take that one step further and say that we're fiercely independent fiduciaries. So we're really striving every step of the way to make our clients in their best interests at the focal point of every decision that we make. And then it's personalized too. So clients may be just at a different step in life's journey. They may have slightly different values or goals than other clients, but what we're doing is we're personalizing that experience to the clients. So I think that's something that I'm really excited about. Probably why I'm looking forward so much to meeting the clients over the course of the next several months.
What's an organization or a cause that you're super passionate about?
Probably, oh man, I hope I don't get choked up here because I tend to when we have this conversation. Probably the American Cancer Society. So those that are close to me know that I grew up with my grandma in the house. So my mom's dad passed from a battle of Alzheimer's for about 10 years. I was really young at the time, so I didn't get a chance to know him. But shortly thereafter, my mom's mom was diagnosed with cancer. She was living in small town, Western Pennsylvania at the time. We were in the Chicagoland area. So she moved out with us and spent 6 years with us. So she passed right before I went away to high school. But I would say without a doubt, that was my childhood best friend. We had just a super close relationship. So seeing her battle through that, I would definitely say that the American Cancer Society is probably a cause, that I would be passionate about. And then maybe just on a little bit of a lighter note, the pup back here, Mabel, she looks harmless, but she can be fearful at times too. She's definitely got a little bit of a screw loose because I got her from a rescue facility. So she's been a staple of our family for the last 8 years. So finding ways to kind of give back and, to rescue animals or what have you would definitely be something that I consider myself passionate about as well. Is there any one particular organization or experience that you've had, from a charitable or philanthropic perspective that you would say had the most profound impact on your life?
I love Rotary. In the last couple of years, it's been harder for me to be as active as I had in my first 10 years, but the motto of Rotary is service above self. And when I think about what Rotary stands for and the Rotarians that I've served with, I am very proud of that. And I love that organization. And in a weird time like we have been in with pandemics, I think of Rotary, who's been kind of at that intersection of fighting against polio, something that's kind of drifted off of our minds in the last 20, 30 years. And unfortunately, it's kind of back on our minds right now. And I'm impressed by Rotary's commitment to do something for the long haul. They've been doing this for nearly 5 decades. And I think that's something that we can all take from is when we get into something, usually it's not a quick hit. It's not a quick fix. And I think planning is that way. I don't think this is an event. I think it's a journey. It's a process. And I think that anything that we can look to and draw from that reminds us to stay committed to something that's important, we'll do good things. We'll do amazing things probably. Fast forward for a second and just kind of let's project out. What do you see for yourself, say a decade from now, 2 decades from now? Where do you see yourself
Holy
when you're
smokes.
maybe down the line like me?
Man, I can't even know what's going on next week. And you're talking decades out here. I think it kind of brings me back to, what were the motivating factors to step into this capacity, come over to Anchor Pointe. I hope it happens before 10 to 20 years out, but I'd love to see myself as a partner in this business, really being equitable equals with one another. And I think part of what attracted me here is the ability for this type of career path and business model to enable and support some of the things that I want to pursue personally as well. So I'm hoping that my wife and I are fortunate, to have children, again, hopefully sooner than 10 to 20 years down the road. But also I think it'd be really cool to coach as well. I think we're coaching our clients from a financial planning perspective on a daily basis, but playing youth football, it's definitely had a big impact on the way I think about things, collaborate, competitive spirit and all that. And would love to be able to give back and maybe coach, whether it's football or basketball, something like that too. So being involved in the community would be, a goal that I have, having a family, having flexibility. And then I do envy you. I know you've got the lake house, and Taylor and I were fortunate enough to make it down there and visit with you guys a few weeks ago. But I think that's just a great way to share life experiences with family and friends. So that would definitely be a goal for me as well. Let it rip.
I'm in my stuff here, Mike Wallace. Let me do my thing.
I don't even know who Mike Wallace is.
I knew it.